King's College London. I'm currently in my second year. So throughout this presentation, what we're going to be doing is we're going to first go through what preclinical medicine is like, and then we're going to go through what clinical medicine is like, and then finally we'll end with a Q&A section. We'll have dentistry as well, talking dentists, and then we'll end it with a Q&A section where you can ask questions about interviews, the application process, and even life as a medical student. Let's get started. So the first one up is going to be Alishra from Kent and Medway Medical School.
Hi, so my name is Alishra. I'm a first year medical student at Kent and Medway, so I've only been at uni for like 3 months now. So I've left Herschel like a couple of months ago. But life as a preclinical medical student, it's honestly pretty good. My medical school, we do a mix of everything. So we do lectures, seminars, workshops. We do this thing called TBL, which is team-based learning. Other medical schools, they call it other things. They call it case-based learning. They call it PBL, which is problem-based learning. But they're all kind of the same thing. Like you get a scenario and then you have to talk about it in your assignment. We also do tutorial, we do practicals, we can do dissection and prosection. We also have these living anatomy sessions where we can draw on each other, or we can look at like models, 3D models. Some medical schools don't do dissection, and some only do prosection. Some don't do dissection or prosection; they only do 3D models. They use technology, so it really depends on the school and what sort of exposure you get. At my medical school, we also have drop-in sessions, so like targeted help from pharmacology. Drop-in session where like the lecturer, the module lead for that area will go over topic that people find hard in case you're struggling in that area. Wednesday afternoons for me are free. In my medical year 1 and year 2 is preclinical, so for both of them it's Wednesday afternoons are free, but at other medical schools it might not be. But at most universities, at least in first year, we'll have Wednesday afternoons free. The content can vary by module, so for example, I just finished my Foundations of Health and Disease. Next time I'm going to do Heart, Lungs and Blood, then I'm going to do Nutrition, Metabolism, Excretion. I'm also doing stuff like Skills for Clinical Practice, where I learn skills. If you're after Christmas, I'm going to learn how to take bloods. So you really do a lot of things. So that's like kind of the core structure at my university. You can see the different modules, so like I just finished Foundation of Health and Disease, and I'm also going to do Heart Science as well. So there's a system-based modules, and then there are other modules which are, they span the whole year. And from year 3 onwards, we are at hospitals, like nearly all the time, and you have rotations in different specialties. So year 3 you could do surgery and perioperative care. In year 4 you could do like obstetrics and gynecology, I think oncology, something like that. So you get to see like everything, honestly. So this is an example week. This is my Google Calendar. You can see I have like, most of my days are 9 to 5 and 9 to 4, except for Wednesdays, which are usually half days. You can see the blue is what, like my own personal stuff, so like I went to Joma and I have badminton, so it shows that you can have a life outside of just studies. But yeah, like I have lectures, I have seminars, I have workshops, I have TBL, so I have like, there's a lot of variety you can have as a first year. This is just an example of like, some pictures, some highlights of me. Most of my B-rolls are me taking in the library, honestly, because most of my days are, after I come back from lecture, I come home and I eat and then I go to the library. But you don't have to. Some people don't spend their lives in the library. Really just depends on you as a person, if you work better in a group, if you work better in your room. But yeah, those are the B-rolls of me in the library. That's a picture of me sleeping in lecture. I don't recommend doing that. That would just happen once, because I was very tired that day. But that's also me at badminton, and just going out with friends. I saw a double rainbow. So there's like a lot of things you can do outside of studies. You can join council societies. You can and the friends you make are like, because they're so similar to you, because you've all chosen the same course. You all have very similar values. So it's quite easy to make friends, honestly. I also go on placement. My medical school has it's one of the newer medical schools, so it has one of the highest numbers of contact hours with patients in the early years. So we have the most, us and like a couple of other newer medical schools have the highest number of placement hours in the early years, which one of these lectures saying that. So I have 2 placement weeks per term, so 6 in total, and there's a different case per week. So for example, one week will be minor illness, one would be like tired all the time, one would be like asthma. And with my university, we are randomly allocated a PCN, which is a primary care network. And sometimes you have to commute, sometimes you have to get accommodation if it's pretty far, but it does get reimbursed by the school. Usually you'll have a partner in the same practice and you'll make presentations or like audits, reports, that sort of thing, depending on what's needed. And there's a lot of things you can do. It's not just sitting with GPs, you can also sit with like other healthcare professionals such as HCAs, pharmacists, paramedics. You go on home visits, you can hang out in a pharmacy, or you can go out with the district nurses. There's a lot you can do, honestly. And you're also practicing your skills, so you're practicing blood taking histories, taking vitals, that sort of thing. That's an example of one of my placement weeks. So I was sitting with the HCA on Monday, and I was sitting with the doctor, and then I was doing a group study, and then on Thursday I was sitting with the doctor, and then a paramedic on home visits, and then I was doing like a seminar. So there's lots you can do on placement as well. That's another example of like my time at placement. So you can see like with the blue stuff, like there's other stuff you have to do. Like there's the boring adulting stuff you have to do, like do your laundry, make sure you cook your food, you do your grocery shopping, you go back home to see your parents, like leave my train to London. There's also like different societies you can do, like I go to Medic sometimes. So yeah, like I would say just allocate your free time so that because it definitely is manageable. Just I think being organized with your time, making sure that whatever free time you have, you don't just spend in your bed scrolling, you actually go out and do things. So why did I choose KMS? I mentioned the course structure. It has an integrated teaching style, so there's a bit of everything, which is nice. I didn't like how some universities with the traditional course had just preclinical, and they would only do science for 2 to 3 years, and they would be out on placement. I feel like to be a well-rounded doctor, you would have to do everything. So that's why I chose it. It's a newer medical school, so new facilities, and they do dissection and prosection, as well as they have like everything, as compared to some universities only have certain things. Placement I mentioned, I also like the area. I think when you're choosing a medical school, the main thing is go to an open day, because you get to see the type of people who are there, the current students, as well as the staff, and you get to see kind of like the vibe from the place and see if you fit in there. So when I went to open day, I was like, yeah, I like this place, I want to go here. So definitely do come to an open day. Let me know if you do come, I'll show you around, I'm free. But yeah, with any medical school, do go to an open day, because it is the main reason you're not just choosing your course, but you're choosing what you're going to be for the next 5 years of your life. So it is important. Stuff that I would say in terms of tips would be don't be intimidated by the difficulty. Like, don't doubt yourself, I would say, because like if you were able to get through the process, you belong there. Imposter syndrome is so real. Everyone feels behind all the time, and like most people are not in the same situation as you. So don't feel too disheartened if you are behind on content. At least at my university, we start more from building foundations from A level, and then adding, and then it becomes like as the years go on, you become more like independent and like do more problem solving. Like I said, put yourself out there. Join clubs and societies, meet people. There's something for everyone. Like if you enjoy clubbing, drinking, there's always something there. There's specific MedSoc sub-societies as well. So, for example, there's an Afro-Caribbean society specifically for medics. So there's a lot you can do. Value the university experience, learn how to adult, especially if you are planning to move out, even if you're not, like, learn how to, like, I don't know, navigate public transport, learn how to grocery shop, manage your money, and simple things like that. Learn how to cook a few meals, take care of yourself as well, because if you burn yourself out, you're no use. It's not gonna go well. And stay connected with people from back home. Your friends and family, because they will be having a support system is very, very important. I'd like to end off with saying that with applications, my journey wasn't smooth. Like I doubted myself all the time during sixth form. I was like, am I even smart enough to do medicine? Am I even it was even suited for me? But for example, I was pretty good being in chemistry. It was a hassle. I had a very mid-UCAT score, and then on results day I ended up getting a grade below my offer, but I still got in because of extenuating circumstances, but personal reasons as well. But do try and fail. It's better to try and fail than to not try at all and regret not trying, if that makes sense. So like, it may seem difficult, especially year 13 with like applications and mocks and interviews. It is a lot, but it is worth it. Like, even if you do fail, there's always other options, also other alternatives. On that note, I'd like to call up Maria and Sarah to talk about. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to call up Vedant and Herman to talk about second year.
So thank you, Ishba. So she kind of spoke to you all about first year at medical school. So Vedant and I are both at second year in King's. So we're just gonna like talk you guys through a week in our life. So I'm gonna talk you through like Monday to Wednesday. So yeah, I'll just get started. So Mondays we'll have campus teaching. So that's like lectures, kind of just learn the foundational knowledge that you're gonna apply once you're on placement and you actually get to see these conditions. So you might learn about heart failure, and then on Friday I might go to hospital and see a patient with heart failure and kind of link what I've learned from my lectures to what I've actually seen. And I think that's the best way to do it, by actually seeing real life scenarios of patients. So like I said, you can get lots of different clinical topics: cardiology, respiratory medicine, obstetrics, so residency and women's health, and lots of other topics that are relevant to your career in medicine. And yeah, that's kind of what a Monday would be like. And yeah, you'll spend it in the lecture theatre if you go to the lectures. That's just guys' campus at King's, if any of you applied or will apply. And you'll also spend a lot of time in the library just consolidating your knowledge based on what you've learned in the lectures. A lot of self-study is involved in medicine because you have to do your own research. You have to kind of go out the way, use lots of different resources to kind of solidify what you've learned in the lecture, because that's not solely what you rely on. And you'll find that out. You'll find out what works best for you. And then Tuesdays, I have GP placement, and this is really good because you actually get to like speak to patients, get involved. You might actually shadow the GP themselves, maybe a nurse, the healthcare assistant, or go to home visits, actually go to see patients in their homes, which is always quite interesting as well. And with RGP, you actually get to run your own clinic, so I'll get to take patient histories, perform examinations, basically act like the doctor, whilst the doctors are sitting there watching me do this stuff, and obviously intervening if they need to. And yeah, so my particular GP is actually the one that cares for patients that were directly affected by the Grenfell fire. So I think this is really interesting in the sense that I've learned that I really appreciate that there's more to medicine than just the physical aspect, because a lot of these patients, based on the trauma that they had to like undergo, they have so many like long-term mental health problems that they've witnessed, and yeah, they won't just come to the GP because their back's aching, for example. They'll come to the GP because they can't sleep at night, they're anxious, they're depressed, they've lost their loved ones to the fire, they've got housing issues that the GP needs to work with them to kind of tackle and refer them to appropriate services. So yeah, I think GP has really made me appreciate the holistic aspect of a career in medicine as well. And then yeah, Wednesdays you have case-based discussion in sport. So case-based discussions is like where you get given a theoretical case. So John might be a 52-year-old male that is waking up at night to go to the toilet, and might be actually experiencing symptoms of type 2 diabetes, for example. And you kind of just work on this case to see what kind of symptoms relate to what kind of diagnosis and what kind of things you can exclude in order to kind of refine your decision making and come up with the most appropriate diagnosis and treatment plan for the patient. So yeah, that's just an example case, and you'll do lots of different things like that. And then Wednesday afternoons you'll have off to kind of do like extracurricular activities. So for me, I'm in a sports team. So every week I'll like go out and play different universities. So if we're in London, we'll go to the other like London unis, UCL, Mary's, Imperial, and we'll have matches. So yeah, there's some pictures. But yeah, joining a sports team or anything like that on Wednesdays is really fun because it just adds to a good distraction from all the studying you just kind of forget about it and just have fun with your teammates.
Okay, so now we've gone through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So now I'm going to go through Thursday and Friday and just a bit more about my journey. So that's our lovely campus where I spend a lot of my time. And this is my first year, so when we were at first year, you recognize a lot of us from here. So the left one's us at freshers, and the top right one is our first ever lecture that we were at. And the bottom one there is my first ever medical lecture. And for me, a lot of first year was just going through a lot of physiology, a lot of anatomy, and it's very similar to your A-levels, but a lot more content. And then that's me now at second year. So you'll end up spending a lot of time in the library, and then, like, for example, the top left one's me at around like 9 p.m. coming back from clinical basement, and I was doing research for a breast consulting. So you get a lot of research opportunities as well, but you've got a lot of exams. So the top right one is literally us, 30 minutes after an exam. So we give our exams in Greenwich at the Excel Centre. So literally that's us completely depressed after an exam. We're smiling, but yeah, and then that's us at our induction lectures. But you see, this journey isn't always smooth, and it's not always easy. And I didn't have it easy as well. I was actually rejected by my top choice, and for me that was something that really broke me down at that point, and I didn't know what to do because I'd spent my day and night just looking at singular university, and when it came to me, it was something that really had me. So that's why I want to tell you guys. We've had our successes, but we've had a lot more failures as well that's led us to be here. And what I want to say is that essentially that there's going to be positives from a lot of the failures. Now looking back at my journey, had I not been rejected from my university, I wouldn't have learned a lot of lessons. For example, how to deal with failure. The thing is, successes can only teach you somewhat, right? But failures will teach you a lot more about life and how you can be actually resilient. Because now I know that if I could go through that time, I can go through anything. Because that really broke me down. If I can get up from that, you can get up from anything. And that's what I want you guys to take away from this talk. Now for Thursday and Friday, Thursdays I do research. So I'm currently part of the Guy's Innovation Cancer Center. So there I've got the supervisor, she's actually leading all of the breast cancer research in London. So currently what my research project is based on is looking at the immunology behind breast cancer and how that can actually vary because of racial differences. For example, someone from one ethnic background could potentially have blood cells which might be slightly different to someone of a different racial background, and that's something that's a very new and upcoming field. And my research project is actually analyzing several hundreds of patient data and their blood markers and trying to come up with, is there something we can kind of potentially observe. And then on Fridays, we've got something known as hospital placement. So this is where we go into different wards, we take histories from patients. We take histories from different patients, we get to do some clinical skills, and then also one thing that I got to do, which was amazing for me and inspiring as well, was actually assist in a C-section. So I got to do retractions, so retractions where you put in clamp and try and pull back skins, etc. And that's something that was really incredible for me. And that's what I'm saying, at medical school you'll have a massive variety of different things. Well, now this is the thing that I had, right? I used to think, if I want to do research, because that's something I was very interested with, I have to go to Oxford, or it just doesn't work. And I want to bring the example of my dear friend. Now, this guy is called Abdullah. He was meant to come to this presentation as well, but he's not here. He's in Indonesia currently presenting at an international conference for a Parkinson's device that he invented. And that's what I want to tell you. He's at Kent and Medway Medical School. Kent hasn't been known for medical research, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get medical research. Kent has actually sponsored him to fly out to Indonesia and do this. That's what I want you to take from this school, right? You can be anywhere, you can do anything. So that's easy. That's just my hospital history taking, C-section got to help out with. And if you want to take anything from this talk, take this, right? Like literally, this is the most important thing you will come across in the whole talk. Okay? Apply KCL. Thank you.
uni and I'm not doing dentistry. I also don't think case study that's
No,
medical
I
school.
agree. No, it is.
Anyway, so we just thought we'd have a little bit more of an informal chat because this time 2 years ago, I had no idea what I would have done if I was rejected. And I was and I wasn't to a certain extent. So this is me showing you that your work skills could actually come through, and which is why you need to take my advice on board. Also remember, I'm not. So you need to take some advice on board about what to do when things work, when things don't work. So 2 years ago, I was in your shoes, and I thought that the worst case scenario would be not getting any offers. And so I put like all of my work into getting offers. I ended up with 2, and then on results day I got a really lovely email saying, actually, didn't get the grades, can't get in. So it does happen. I honestly thought that there's no way. Once you get the grades, that's it. So once you get the offers, that's it. Like everything will fall into place. But it doesn't. So I ended up having to resit. I ended up having to take an unexpected gap year, and I used the word unexpected because I had no idea what I was going to do. I didn't know if I was going to continue with medicine. I didn't know if I was going to go to pharmacy. I had no idea what I was going to do. And the reason I'm telling you all this is because if I can now say I'm a first year medical student at Southampton, you guys can do it as well. I think it's not spoken about a lot in school, and it's not spoken about a lot in our communities. And the idea, like my mum wanted me to take gap year before, never. Like they're never going to want that. But at the end of the day, if you're really passionate about medicine and you know that that's what you want to do, then you'll take the time out. And literally just to echo everything that Vidal said, you learn so much about yourself. And it does, if you asked me 2 years ago, oh, would you have liked to take a gap year? I think all of us would have been like, no, absolutely not. Like that was my worst case scenario. But really I learned so much about myself. I was able to work, I was able to just have a rest, because a lot of us, I think, we're running on such high power constantly that a rest was very much well deserved. And yeah, now I'm a first year medical student, and the reason I'm telling you all this is to like revise your A-levels, listen to your teachers. But at the end of the day, failure doesn't mean the end of the world. It doesn't mean that it's the end of the road. And as long as you work hard and you're motivated and you're dedicated, then you can do whatever you want. And don't let anyone tell you that you can't, because you can. On to Sarah.
Hello everyone, my name is Lana. I'm a second year medical student in the University of Nottingham, which I obviously think is better than the London unis. I'd encourage everyone to apply to the Midlands and the Greeny unis. We have a huge campus, much better than KCLs. I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit, just like Mario did, about the other unconventional routes of going into medicine. If it's something you guys really want to do, not just medicine, dentistry. So I know that it's very easy for you guys to sit there and think, it's easy for us to say, stay in school, study for your A-levels, it's going to work out, because we're all in medical school. I know it sounds rich coming from us because we're here, but I just want to emphasize that we really do mean everything we say, and that is the correct attitude to have in your position, to think that if you work hard, it will work out, and if it doesn't work the conventional way, then it will work regardless, because if you really want it, then it will. So we've got Sarah and Mario, who are both gap year students, and me, who at the end of year 13, I had no med school offers. 0. I had an offer from Queen Mary's, and then I didn't get an A star predicted, and I lost that offer. And I went into Levers with no med offers. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to take a gap year, or I'm gonna have to do another degree and then do medicine post-grad if it's still something I really wanna do. And then on Levers Day, I got a voicemail from the University of Nottingham saying you got in. A voicemail. Who gets a voicemail as you got into uni? Exactly. That was me. I was literally jumping around the courtyard like, you're never going to believe I got a voicemail saying I got into uni. But my point is that there's a lot of unconventional routes. You might even take another degree and decide that you still want to do dentistry, still want to do medicine. But don't let that throw you off. If you really want to do it, then it's going to work out. If you put the hard work and study for your A-levels, it's going to work out. And then now we're all in med school, and I'm sure that everyone here is going to be annoying because we all are really passionate about it. But because we've taken those routes, because we didn't give up and we still went in with the hard work, did the gap years, did the work at A-levels, we're all here and we're able to tell you guys to do the same. And hopefully you're going to be in the same position as us in a year or two. You're going to be here giving the younger year speeches, telling them how this is the correct attitude to have, hopefully. So I just wanted to emphasize to work hard. Don't give up. If you're going in the next couple of months, you're looking at your friends. Comparison is the thief of joy. That's a really famous quote that I want to share with you guys. Comparisons are easy to do. Don't look at your friends and think she's got 2 med offers, she's got 3 dentistry offers, he's got 5 offers, I'm not going to get any, I'm behind. Please only focus on your own journey, working hard, and it will all come in good time.
Even if you have those offers, you can't get over it.
Yeah, I had a Queen Mary's offer, I lost it. Leavers Day, I had no offers, and now I'm at medical school. So please keep an eye on your own success, work hard, and it will all come in your own time when it's supposed to. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Sarah Knight. I go to King's, I'm first year. I took a gap year just like Maria. My reason is a bit different. I initially did apply in year 13. I wanted to go in. I was like on board, got my predicted grades, got my UCAT score. But there were just so many things going on in my life personally. And I just came here to talk to all of you guys. We don't know what happens in our life. Something can happen to us anywhere. Unforeseen circumstances can happen. And it's not just failure that can make you take a gap year. It can also be just realizing maybe you need a break in your life, and you just need to take a pause and really reflect what it is you need the most in that moment. And yeah, I was so adamant on not taking a gap year until the last week of October in year 13. I sat down with my mom, my 2 sisters, and they said, Sarah, listen, this is not for you. You need to take a break. You need to look at your mental well-being. And looking back, that was the best decision I could have ever made in that moment. It really helped me just recollect myself and take time. Just like what Lania said, do not compare yourself to other people. When I was in year 13, everyone was getting interview offers, calls. I was just like, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to me for a whole year because I didn't apply. I withdrew my application. So, but the positive of that was I took time just to focus on my A-level grades, and I could put a lot of focus on getting those A stars and those A's. And alhamdulillah, looking back, honestly, it's just the best thing I could have ever done in that moment. So if anyone here is just going through anything, a difficult time, please just take time for yourself and get the support needed. I had so much support from Miss Malik when I was going through it a lot, and she really helped me. And also the school counsellor was really helpful. So please make use of those resources and support that we have, that Herschel provides. Yeah, there will be some people that won't be that supportive of you taking a gap year. I had loads of family, maybe some teachers that weren't really positive on me taking a gap year for my reason. They were like, no, push through it, you can do this, you can do this. Yes, you can do it. We're not undermined. I never undermined myself that I'm taking gap year because I know I can't do it. No, my priority was my mental health and well-being. So just please keep that in mind when the application process is very stressful, but please keep your mental health in check. If you ever need help, get support. Thank you so much.
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Shafali. I'm a second year dental student at King's College London. And today I'm basically here to give you kind of like an insight into a week in my life at uni, what dentistry is really about, and kind of give you more of an insight as well into the pros and cons of the career so that you can actually gauge a better decision if you want to apply to it. So I'm going to actually start off with the application process. It's very similar to medicine, if not exactly the same. So you get your predicted grades, of course, from your mock results, your term tests, any other exams that you've sat in year 12, and then accordingly you choose your university. And then after, you then take your UCAT, again like in year 12 summer, year 13 like early September. I know they've now changed the structure of it and they've removed one of the sections, but normally you prepare around 3 to 6 weeks in advance, give or take depending on the way that you learn. I took a little bit longer than 6 weeks because it takes me a little bit of a while to process things. Honestly, that's kind of the main amount of time that you would take. Then you go on to do your personal statement, and again, I know that we have a new personal statement format. You'd answer your 3 questions about why you'd want to do your course and how your qualifications have helped you in your extracurriculars. And then you go on to interviews, so whatever you need, have given you an offer, you attend your interviews either online or in person in the format of an MMI or a panel interview, and that happens, and then you get your offers. So I wanted to give you an insight into why I chose dentistry. So I think personally it is a really rewarding career. And I know it sounds like a cringe opening line to your general practice statement, oh, I really want to help people, oh, I want to give them the smile that they deserve. But honestly, when you're actually in practice and you're starting the clinical aspect of things, it kind of does pay off. And you do feel as if you are helping people, you are learning how to kind of give people and the community back, you know? And also it is a mixture of lots of different types of degrees as well. So it's a mixture of science, it's a mixture of art. Like we've literally had a whole module where we've had to visit art museums, for example, and literally analyze artwork and draw and sketch. It's engineering as well because there's a lot of materials involved. And it's also business as well because in the future when you do really want to like run your own practice, hopefully if you are applying, you end up doing that. But it is business as well. You need to know how to manage your finances. There's that aspect too. It's also very hands-on and it's very practical too. You're constantly doing something. And it focuses on a niche area of the body. Like rather than doing medicine where you kind of focus on everything, you're focusing on your head, neck and jaw. So it's not just your teeth, it's like everything up above. But yeah. And of course, this shouldn't be an incentive, but it is quite a nice financial reward as well. So you are going to be rich enough to own a Porsche. And then, so now I'm going to be moving on to a week in my life at KCL. So on a Monday, we have a clinical day. That's my clinical day. Everyone else has a different one. So on a Monday, I do phantom heads. So if you can see in like the third image at the top, that's kind of what like the clinics look like. And you're working on those for like 3 hours. And you're either learning how to scale teeth, do fillings, kind of your basics before you go on to doing patient work and actually learning how to deal with the patients. So it kind of gives you like a nice entrance into that. And then after that in the morning, you then go on to having a haptic simulator session. And a haptic simulator session is basically when you're working on a machine that's costs around 40,000 pounds. And it looks kind of similar to the phantom heads, but instead it's kind of like working on a game instead. Like you literally have like a simulated tooth, you have like a simulated upper jaw or lower jaw, and then you're working on that. Then we go on to like a Tuesday, and a Tuesday is more like a tutorial day, and that's when you're kind of catching up on like work sheets that maybe you've been assigned to do, you go through them. So that's more like classroom based, more like school, and you then kind of do that, or you're learning content to do with like the phantom heads or like the clinical stuff. So it can either be old or new content. And again with that, it's kind of annoying because we do have to learn a lot of the medical content as well. So we are learning about the kidneys, the heart, it's not just teeth. But if you do find that interesting as well, and you don't really just want to focus on teeth, you do have that aspect too. And then Wednesday's like our lecture day. Initially they were online, they were in person, and that was actually the view from our lecture theatre of the shard over there. And then after that, we would now move to online, so it's more pre-recorded, kind of like a YouTube video format. Thursdays is kind of like a miscellaneous day where we're either shadowing dental students in like the floor where they're actually dealing with patients, so you're getting greater insight into what they're doing, what you'll be doing in the future. It could either be to do with a different module, maybe to do with like an essay that you may have due, and then personally I have the Friday off, so that's really nice. I get a 3-day weekend. Then it's not just all about academics as well. You also have a social side, and dentistry is a really social degree. So this is just purely from the Dental Society, and of course you aren't just going to be joining the Dental Society, you're going to be having like your religious societies, your sports societies. But yeah, we actually do run a lot of events. So you have like an annual boat party, you have a BDS ball, for example, you have general meetups, you go to Thorpe Park, there's bowling, there's paintballing, there's like a bunch of range of events. So there's a really strong community atmosphere in King's, and you get to know a lot of the people in your course very well. And outside of that, of course, you then like have fun with your flatmates, anyone you know, and then also you can meet people from secondary school as well. So you kind of have the time as well. So it's a really nice work-life balance. And moving on, so these are like my pros and cons of the actual career in general. So the pros is that you're kind of guaranteed a job after graduation. Like you don't need to be one of those people like on LinkedIn with like 5,000 connections, for example. You got the job, you know. And it's a nice thing to know that you don't have to then compete also after university as well. Like it's just mainly for the application process, and that's about it. It's also a really rewarding career, like I mentioned before. You're focusing on a niche, like it's just a really kind of give back career, and it's a really nice way again of not only fulfilling yourself but also fulfilling the people around you. And it's again really flexible. So again, when you qualify and you do your first foundation year, you don't have to do 2 like medicine as well. You can work however many hours a day you want, however many days you want. So again, you kind of have that flexibility and you have that work-life balance too. Again, it's very social. You're working in a team and seeing new patients every day. So again, you're not just talking to, for example, just the patient. You have like the dental hygiene therapist, you have the GP, you have the receptionist. There's so many different people that you guys are talking to, and it really helps because it feels like you're in a community. And again, there's new cases every day too. So when it comes to new cases, again, I know that can feel like, oh my god, like this is really challenging. It's kind of overstimulating, but instead, you can also take it as a positive as well. You're seeing a new case every day. You're getting a new challenge every day. You're kind of being able to use your brain, able to think. And again, like I think that's a really nice part of the career too. And now in terms of the cons, it's an extremely competitive application process, and it's known to be a competitive degree, and it's known to be one of the hardest degrees as well to apply to. I don't think this should knock you down though, because like everyone else's head, like we've all had our own journeys, and me personally as well. I've been rejected from 4 different universities, and I only got into King's through a waitlist. Like I got my offer in June randomly. So I would say take it on your head, and again, just grow from it and learn from it, and you become such an emotionally mature person through having experience that it's really important to actually just take it as like a positive. Again, it's an intense course, and it's 5 years of a high workload as well. And it includes mental content. And I think Elizabeth actually mentioned this, but imposter syndrome is also a really big thing. When you're in dental school, you feel like sometimes like everyone else is so smart around me, and like how comes I can't do exactly what they're doing first time around? But it's also really important to know that everyone has their own different journeys, everyone has their own ways of learning, and everyone has, again, like some people could be successful now, but you could be successful later, and then the roles could reverse at any point. And again, that's such an important thing to keep in mind because everyone's journey is so different. And then also you have back and neck pain and hand pain as well. I only have like 3 hours of clinics, and even then my back and my neck do kind of hurt, and like it's like we've been taught exercise and things to help with that. So that is another thing to keep in mind. Like if you do go to the gym, for example, maybe you include that in your workout if you do apply to dentistry. And another thing I'd like to talk about and actually focus on a lot is that it is a very romanticized career. I'm sure if you've seen on TikTok or Instagram, like people living their best life as dentists, or even dental students, like posting their work, looking like everything's perfect. But it's actually completely the opposite, and they've had to work so hard to get to that position in the first place. And I think that's really downplayed, and you kind of just see everything on social media as this is such an amazing career. Like I earn lots of money, I have a nice job, I can have a nice life afterwards. And as much as yes, to an extent that is true, and I have mentioned it, it is very much so over-exaggerated as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then here are my tips for you if you do want to apply, or so actually find out whether you have a genuine passion for the course. Like, don't do it just because your parents have told you, like, medicine or dentistry or, like, law or something like that, Make sure that you're doing work experience, talking to dental students. Like, don't just do it for the doctor's title, And I think that's a really important thing to actually make sure that you gauge it, because it will make the course a little bit easier if you're actually interested in it. So that's that. And then I will say, again, do your research. Don't choose a university because of the reputation. Like, I also made the mistake of doing this during my application, and I chose the 4 most competitive ones for dentistry, thinking that, I'm going to get 4 offers, 4 interviews, when I should have been more careful with what I did. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from it. Like, know what you're applying to, know what the universities are about, and how they differ from each other as well in terms of their course structure. Some prefer like doing more teamwork building things, so they're more problem-based learning. Some start clinics from really early, like Birmingham start like from first year, whereas we start from like 3rd. So it really does depend on you as a person, and it's very important that you kind of put yourself first in this position rather than the opinions of others. Another thing I'd take, one thing I would definitely say is to take breaks and look after your mental health and stay positive. Like, you guys are working so hard, like year 12s especially, and year 13s, like you guys have got your interviews and your mocks coming up, and year 12s, like the UCAT, the actual application process, doing the extracurriculars, like building yourself up for this. Like, make sure that you're actually taking the time to look after yourself that's a really important thing to actually focus on. Like, take those breaks. Like, I know that you may feel bad, like, oh my god, like, why am I actually just sitting around and doing nothing? But sometimes it's actually good to do that because it's just, it's too much and it is a lot. So make sure that you are doing that. And again, like everyone else has said, I think it's also really important to be able to prepare like yourself to face rejection as well. Rejection is a very disheartening thing, and like I think everyone else has summed it up really well, that you should take it as an opportunity to learn more about yourself and grow from it and become a better person, you know. And yeah, and for your year 13s as well, for your mocks coming up, actually utilize them to your advantage and identify where your weaknesses are and use it as an opportunity to learn. And I say this because in my chemistry mock, I actually, because I started to like doss around a little bit, focus more on interviews, I actually ended up getting a C. And that was like my last prep before at my actual A-levels. And then considering the fact that also I had no offers, like it was a lot. So I'd say actually make sure that you focus on your mocks, make sure that you actually utilize them and take away the most from them so that you're able to, when it comes to your actual exams, like you're really prepared and you're really calm. But yeah, but that's it. Thank you. And if you have any questions